Well, that's not nasty way to start a video. Allergy season, folks. When I get allergies, it tends to really make my throat scratchy, and adding the medication to that to combat the nasal stuff, because I'm not, and congested and crying and sneezing, but all that kind of helps amplify the cough even worse. But that's kind of gross. But today, it's going to be one of those mental health vlogs, and today I want to talk about self-harm. Oh, God, this is hard to talk about. It's probably going to be even harder to talk about as I go through it. Oh, it's so hard to talk about, because I'm not incredibly comfortable talking about this. And my family, well, some members know, a lot of them don't. And, oh, bloody hell, this is tough. Really tough, but I am an ex-self-harmer, I will admit that. I mean, I really was. And don't get me wrong, I would do it going back to maybe later years in high school. Like, I would do it once in a great while, and we're talking once like every 4 months or something, like really in a great while. But it didn't really become a problem until, like, when I had that major depressive episode. The major depressive episode that led me to seeking help, that led to the diagnosis of bipolar disorder. I think it really didn't happen until then. And that's my television. Betty and Veronica, Archie. But, that was tough, but that's when it really took off. Because I had, like I said, I had this major depressive episode, really nasty one, from, like, really middle to late 2013 and on. And I really kind of went overboard. And it's not as severe as it's not as severe as other people, for sure. It's definitely not as, because I see some people and man, it could be so much worse. It could have been so much worse. But that's not to say that it's better or anything. It's definitely not better. I mean, self-harm is not good any way you cut it. No pun intended. But, God, I just can't stick my foot in my mouth in this one. But anyway, I mean, I used to do that. And the way I remember I used to do it, and I remember when I had the major depressive episode, it was just, I had been clean for about a year. It was a really long time. And, for me, the reason I did it was because when I was in that major depressive episode, I mean, I just wanted to feel, God, the camera's so damn high. It really is high. Stop getting distracted. But anyway, that's better. But anyway, when I was in that really major depressive episode, I mean, you gotta understand, I was really miserable every day of the week. Suicidal some days not, didn't want to do anything. And I started self-harming because for me, it kind of was a distraction. It took me away from that feeling. You kind of get what I'm saying here? It was just, I just wanted to feel anything, even if it is pain. Anything was better than feeling the way I was feeling. Just miserable. Anything was feeling that, even if it was pain. And that's why I started doing it. That was for me, that was kind of like a distraction, almost a relief, in a way, from those feelings. And that's the main reason I started doing it. And the way I used to do it was, I would get like a pen with no ink, a paper clip, a nail filer, and I would kind of go into there, and I would just kind of grind up and down, until either I started bleeding, or until I kind of got deep enough where I could kind of see some of the pussy stuff starting to come. And that's, when it started getting juicy, pretty much. And that's when I would stop. And that's how I did it. And I should really have a thing that says don't go, because I know this can be a trigger for some people. And it really is kind of a trigger. And like I said, I just really grateful that I really didn't go overboard, and I don't have a lot of scars on my body. I mean, I have scars, like I said, on my left arm that it's not bad enough that I have it all over my body, but it's not, I guess, good that I have scars on my left arm that are never going to go away. And the way I did it, I mean, I wouldn't do this, like lines, I would kind of trace my, the gray parts of your veins, like here. I would kind of trace it like this, up and down. And so now you don't really see gray on my veins anymore. You kind of see like reddish or whitish now, and so you can see a little bit of gray, but you don't get to see a lot of that anymore. And so, and I guess that's kind of almost was a blessing in this, not a blessing, but it's like not a whole lot of people can notice that. But I will say this, now I'm just like scared to go to doctors. Like when doctors want to give me a shot or take my blood out, I always give them the right arm. I mean, I don't want to give them this arm anymore because I don't know what they're going to say, and, I don't want to have that conversation, and so that's, I have things that stuff they're never going to do. They're never going to go away, and and that's not the only way to do it. I mean, there are other things. Like I remember, like when I would work out. And I would go beyond working. I would push myself to exhaustion to punish myself. That was another way of self-harm. Just exhausted while I'm like throwing up and, just punishing myself needlessly. That's another way I would self-harm. So it's not just, cutting or scratching. That's another way. And, God, that was tough to talk about, but I just wanted to tell that because I know that there's not a lot of guys to really come out and say that. And additionally, if you're dealing with it, you really do seek help because it's kind of like I said, it becomes addicting. Like it's almost like you have to do it. And I would admit to this day, when things are kind of going a little rough, I'm a little chaotic or something, I'm having an off day, I still will get that urge. I fight it now, and I never go on it anymore, but I still get that urge. So it's like I'm recovered from it. I'm not cured from it. I'm recovered from it. But I still get that. I'm not going to lie. And, I probably am going to show my left arm. It isn't too bad. It isn't horrible, but I kind of want to show that at the end. And I'm definitely not going to show, like, a colored picture. I'm probably going to, black and white it or something. But I just kind of want to say that. And if you're struggling, get help. Because, trust me, you're going to be way over your head. You're going to be getting way over your head because you think that, oh, I'm just going to do it once. It's kind of like drugs almost. It's like, I'm going to do it once so I can handle this. I'm not going to go too deep. Like, I remember me thinking, oh, I'm not going to go. When I was doing it and I was depressed, I was like, it feels great to get over this, but I'm not going to get too deep. I'm not going to get scars. And nope. Trust me. It's just going to keep escalating and escalating. So get help, really.